Hi, my name is Andres Leon. I want to talk about not only manipulation, but also I want to talk about the whole process of how your soul can die. And I don't know how to call that, but I am quoting Nietzsche and saying, God has died and humanity has killed him. I believe truly in what he said, and in a very particular aspect. This aspect, which I am talking about, is the aspect where life, indeed, by God, has been created in a way that we need God in a way. And I'm a person who has been an agnostic for a very, very long time. Yet still, I think not God is necessary. It's a necessary part of society, even if it's not true, even if it's just this creature that we created to feel like we have some purpose in the universe. I believe it's necessary because God gives us not only a purpose to live, but also gives us a morality to live. And it's very important you have that, to have a set of rules where you have to be aware of what you're doing, be mad about yourself if you do something wrong, or be very happy about yourself if you do something that your morality says is right. So that's kind of a part of what God serves in this current society. And I think as human creatures, I truly believe when you do something wrong, something that's truly just bad, and that you know it's bad, but you didn't care and you did it anyway, in that certain time or certain type of situations, I truly believe that a part of your soul dies. When you do something that you know that was wrong, a part of your soul dies. A part of you dies, and it's how it works. You cannot fight it, but you can only acknowledge it, and you can only live with it. If you do something your morality and your soul says is not right, a part of your soul is going to die that day. And it's a very big problem about a very part of your soul dying, because there's a certain point where you can even you cannot even feel love. Do you want to feel love? Do you want to feel you're someone who deserves to be loved? Do you want to believe that of yourself? If you've done enough bad in this world, you probably think you're not. And that means you've killed enough part of your soul. Because any soul that's still a part innocent, in a way, it's gonna believe they deserve to be loved. In a society where there's no morality, God is dead and humanity has killed him. So you really need to be aware of that. And I really think that us as humanity, as persons, as you and me, we have to think, is it really worth it to live without morality, without having that set of rules to follow? That morality, that set of commandments, that set of rules to live with, because that's the only way we keep our soul. There's a second topic I wanted to talk about. It was manipulation. I have my thoughts very clear in that, since I've been a person who's lived with a very set of manipulating persons before. In life, I believe us as people live for company. That's pretty okay, I guess. It's a way that we don't feel alone. I believe when a person, and I want to be very clear in this phrase, when a person can't give you love, they will give you conflict. When a person cannot give you love, they will give you conflict, because conflict is sometimes enough. to get you to stay there. Conflict can be enough to get you to stay there. Conflict is enough for that. If you think about it on toxic relationships, they're not giving love to each other, they're giving conflict. And that conflict is sometimes something that sticks them to each other because they think, okay, maybe we talk this through, and then after we talk this through, things are gonna be okay, but not. They are not. Because that's a manipulative person that they created that conflict. There was not conflict at all. Because when we as people talk through something and we get to an agreement, we think that's something that bonded more in the other relationship, and sometimes that's not how it works, especially with manipulative persons. When a person cannot give you love, they give you conflict because that's the way it works. You kind of have to have this way to love yourself and love your way of being with yourself. This life is very lonely, and that's something that you cannot change. It's not gonna change. What would it change? Life is lonely, and that's okay. You have very large of a amount of lonely moments in your life, a very large amount of moments where you're gonna be just with you, yourself, and your thoughts. That's what I talked previously on overthinking, because you're gonna be with yourself. That's okay, but yeah, gonna have a lot of lonely moments. You can avoid that loneliness, but why avoid it? Why not making it a better experience for yourself? An experience where you can talk to yourself, think with yourself. That's a way where you will be more happy with conflict and acknowledging as conflict as it is. Because there will be a certain point where you're just so happy with yourself that if you get conflict, like you're like, okay, that's certainly conflict. If we solve it, yeah, that's of course a feeling of that like we bonded. But if I'm certainly being overstepped on my limits, I know I can be okay with myself. If I don't want conflict, I'll avoid it or I'll fix it. But if it doesn't fix itself, or if it doesn't fix with my help, it's not gonna help. It's not gonna be fixed. Then it's just conflict. And you're gonna be more able to identify if it's a conflict that's being created by the situation, or it's being a situation and a conflict created by the person. You're gonna be more aware of that, and you're gonna be more able to run away from that and actually go into a more certain place of peace. It's great. It's a great way to be.